everyone's favorite podcast about Gemini movies. Today we have some special news about the format, but before that, I'm your host, Alice Water. And who are you? I know I'm saying this.
I am Ludovico. I am a robot.
Well,
Exterminate.
it's Robot Dalek. Ludovico, the hell.
Yes. Yeah, welcome everybody. We got some new ideas for the new season that we're going to talk about later. Let's do that when we choose the movie at the end, I guess.
Yeah.
But before we get into our two movies, which are AI and Bicentennial Man, two robot movies.
Yeah.
Before we do that, let's do our segment of talking about something we enjoyed last, I guess, 2 months this time.
Yeah.
You want to start, Alice?
I'll start with this. I haven't been no, actually, I'll do a thing. I have been doing the impossible. I've been joining with my sworn enemy. Yeah. I've been playing a crafting survival game.
Holy shit.
I've been getting into Terraria. It's
Oh, cool. I used to play that.
A friend of mine, a group of friends of mine is from like another server. Have like a server together, and because I've got and because they were doing that server before, like we came from them. They were like, do you want to like join with us? And I was like, okay. So they bought me. So one of them bought me Terraria, and like it's really an interesting time. It's really interesting because that game is like very Minecrafty, but also like it's much more like gameplay focus. There's like very much like a focus on like killing and exploring and doing other things more than just the crafting systems. Where like Minecraft's a bit more like I guess silver. But yeah, it's been interesting. It's been interesting, specifically interesting like having to like base build, like create stuff, do things, and learning that there's a style a lot in that game.
Yeah, I remember that part.
Did you ever do the medium call set?
I don't know if that was in the game when I played it. I played it like 10 years ago.
It's a setting where, like, you know how in Terraria you don't lose anything besides money when you die? There's a setting where, like, you can turn it on and just you lose everything after dying.
Oh, yeah, I played with that a bit.
Sorry, but I can't understand how you do that. You just die in that game a lot.
You just put everything you need in a chest before you go die. You know, you just put stuff in chests that you want to keep.
But I want to use the cool set. I don't want to just like lose the cool set. I want to use it.
It doesn't your gear like lie around and you can pick it back up if you go there?
Yeah, but that's balling. That's main.
That's kind of like Dark Souls, you know, with the souls.
Yeah, that's Dark Souls. But they haven't been enjoying it. It's very much very interesting because it's a sound normally I don't not enjoy, but like it's really interesting. Yeah. What you think?
Yeah, I think that's a good game, by the way. I really enjoyed my time with Terraria. It's very fun with friends. Yeah.
No, I was just saying, it's surprisingly still being updated and stuff. Like, it gets new update like every 2 months or so.
Yeah, that's weird because like a while ago they said like, here's our final update, and then they just kept going.
It's very funny. Yeah.
Yeah, my big thing is I guess I'm on like back into getting into DJing. I'm very much like gathering new tracks. I want to do like a goth DJ thing. I want to do a party this fall. So I'm already like preparing my stuff and trying to get my my controller back to work. I have like a Tractor controller S4, but that thing is defective. So either I have to repair it or I'm gonna have to start it at the bottom. Now I'm still here, you know, start back with a shitty controller.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah. Just like hate Canadian Drake.
Yeah, that was the joke I was making there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fun. I'm discovering a lot of new music. Bopping to the music all day, you know.
That's nice. How much cumbia did you put in?
No, it has to be like goth music, you know.
Yeah, it has to be like goth cumbia.
There's probably at least one like goth cumbia band. You're right.
There has to be like somebody in like rural Mexico that's like extremely into cumbia, and that's so God's sake making that stuff.
Yeah, making like dark wave cumbia. That would be
I,
sick.
but yeah, that's very much interesting. So it was very much interesting that I've been helping you with the project, given what we talked about yesterday. That
Yes.
I won't tell, but I'll just say I love one of the best things about learning various languages is helping your best friend determine if something is highly racist or not.
Yeah, I had like a weird hunch that it could be racist, and it turned out it was pretty racist, actually.
Yeah, that's why you should learn other languages. You can inform your friend if like the music they're listening to is like, oh, this slaps, this sounds like. We get to inform you this is racism.
Yeah, that's very useful.
Yeah,
I guess let's get to our movies, right?
yeah,
Um, Before we get into the main segment, I guess let's do a little time travel segment because you came to life around when these movies came out, right?
yeah. This is 99, right?
One is 99, one is 2001. The
Yeah,
list is weird. It
I was
calls
one
this
that.
a twin movie, but it's 18
Yeah.
months apart.
We were talking about the twin movies list. Listen, if you were like, if we were the people making the rules, we would probably like exclude out some movies from this, because of like the weird time stuff. But like, we are not, so just gonna follow that, even if it's annoying us. But yeah,
Yeah,
I was probably 99. So this is very funny because this is like stuff I both watched both AI and like Bicentennial Man. I bought like a teen and a kid on TV, so it's very funny. Bicentennial Man was just like won a lot on TV here for some reason. I guess because it was
that's
free.
weird because it never ran here.
I don't know. Maybe there's like some weird like year licensing thing. But like it's very interesting because now you're getting into like Bay late 90s or like 2000 stuff. Or like I was like it's like very much like in my mid 20s, like Gen Z person, like older Gen Z persons, like very interesting to talk about because this is like the stuff I grew up with and like that was part of the culture I was in, like
Yeah.
pop mainstream pop culture that was important from America, which is very interesting.
This is also a very interesting moment in time because one of these movies came out before 9/11 and one came out like 2 days before 9/11 or something.
Yeah,
This is like the last grasp of America thinking everything's gonna be cool.
it's very funny because both movies, like not both movies, like AI specifically comments in 9/11 by accident, which I find very interesting. Yeah, but this is very much like the last heels of like, the death of history set.
Yeah, this is really end of history era.
Yeah, but specifically it's the era, but also the breaking of that neoliberal optimism of the era with like 9/11 and stuff, and like specifically like because this is about American products, like this is very much like an era where like you couldn't make movies like this anymore, not because of like the woke mob. The woke mob is making movies with robots, but yeah, um, it's mostly because like these are so like not they do not have the 9/11 vibes. So it's like slowly like reloading with like full and bounce of like 2006. You would have a lot of American movies, even comedies, just have like the most 9/11 vibes ever. You know?
Yeah, everything was washed out colors and super gritty, and somebody was torturing terrorists or something.
Yeah, like so it's very interesting to see this because they're both kind of like reflecting on the future and the past in interesting ways. Do you? I guess do you want to go a bit because we're talking about the past? You want to talk about a bit with about the sale of sci-fi and specifically? We were in a time where like robot movies like this weren't just being made anymore.
Yeah, the closest you got to a successful robot movie in this era was the Matrix trilogy.
Yeah, there was also like was I Robot to sell like later?
iRobot came out a little bit later, and I remember it kind of flopped.
It kind of flopped. It was also bad 90 like an 11 fighter. But yeah, like specifically like I think that this is as important to, by mentioning I Robot. Like, so bicentennial man is a mob adaptation, and while AI is pulling from a lot of shit, including Astro Boy, other books, etc., etc. It's also pulling a lot from Asimov, and like this type of like traditional robot sci-fi story was like very much not a thing. If it was a thing, it was much more just like throwbacks, you know.
Yeah.
Was like this has to do with a lot of factors, but I would say by the 80s, like a lot of like the traditional like robot canon robot be a man stories were being replaced by other types of science fiction, specifically because like of course the 80s had like cyberpunk and other stuff, and then by the 90s you had like more sci-fi. Inspired by that, or like going in other places, like then like the more like traditional like as the movie and like robot stories, you know.
Yeah, both these movies are kind of out of their era in terms of what they're talking about,
Yeah, yeah. Do you have like
which makes
anything?
sense for the Kubrick Spielberg one because that one has been workshopped since the 70s, I think. Like
Yeah.
Kubrick first got the idea when he read a novella called Super Toys Last All Summer Long
Well,
that
I'm
came
not.
out in the 70s.
I'm not gonna lie. That sounds like a porno title.
Yeah, it also has sequels, Super Toys in Winter and Super Toys in Different Seasons. It's a trilogy.
Those all sounds like fucking like 70s pornos. Not gonna lie, it's
Look,
amazing.
I would try the Super Toy. Don't misunderstand me.
But yeah,
This I got this from The Ringer, by the way. Their 20 years later AI article has a lot of good stuff. I'm gonna link that in the description of the video.
yeah. But yeah, do you have anything else to say about the sale of like 90s science fiction robots? So, what do you think
I
we
I
are?
remember the I didn't actually. I don't think I knew about Bicentennial Man, but I knew about AI when it came out. And it really was a really weird movie for the time. That's all I remember, basically. That it really didn't fit in all this. You know, this was like the birth of the big movie franchise era.
Yeah,
You had the Star Wars new trilogy, you had Harry Potter, you had Lord of the Rings, you had Matrix trilogy, you had all these trilogies, right?
yeah,
And there was just this like philosophical dark movie about like robot feeling love.
yeah. It's interesting because I feel like this was also like this is going back. We'll talk more about this like later, probably like when we go to other things. Like Spielberg was very much like out of touch. Not out of touch, but like Spielberg in like 2000s was interesting because like he's like a very like traditional director, you know,
Yeah.
like inspired by like a lot of the old like Hollywood like so-called grades. Has like different ways of like taking things, and like a lot of his 2000s movies were very much trying to like merge the sensibilities of like his filmmaking with like 2000s aesthetics, like stuff. And it is like a specific experiment because it's also like a Kubrick script. It's like there's a lot of melting between people who fundamentally like class in different ways with like what was going on in different cinema. And it's very interesting. So last thing I think before we move, I just want to mention that the director of Bicentennial Man is fucking Chris Columbus,
Yeah,
Mr.
which is
Home
weird.
Alone, Harry Potter movies.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a Chris Columbus film in
The
a lot
White
of ways.
we talk about this. But the White House also did Matilda and stuff. It feels much more like I think the tone of the movie, but much more like something different from like Columbus style. Yeah, you want to move on?
Yeah, let's start our main segment where we compare and contrast these two.
Yeah,
Okay, let's start with Bicentennial Man cast and acting. I'm gonna read off some names right now. We got Robin Williams as Andrew. We got Embeth Davids as Lil Miss Portia. Sam Neill as Sir. I guess they never say his name.
yeah,
Oliver Platt as Rupert Burns. Kirsten Warren as Galatea. Wendy Crewson as Ma'am. Then we have Hallie Eisenberg, who plays the same character as Embeth Davids, but as a kid. Lindsay Letterman also playing the Miss. Angela Landis also playing the Miss. So we got a lot of people playing the same person. Also, I just want to mention she's a bit below, but Lynn Thigpen movie night alumni and podcast alumni is the president in this movie, which is very good.
Yes, she was in what again? That we covered?
She was in Warriors. She was the announcer.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I think also we watched the thing with her in the movie Gooper.
Yeah. Okay. So what did you think of the acting in Bicentennial?
I think the acting is solid. Like the main thing I'll say is Robin Williams. This is a very interesting Robin Williams role because it leans into his sentimentality, but also for a last part of the movie he has like restraining, you know.
Yeah.
So like he's playing like a very traditional like robot trying to learn about humanity with this swears. Robin Williams is like an interesting actor. He was like very typecast because like the funny guy because of the singing and stuff. And previous
Yeah.
was of course like Good Morning Vietnam and stuff. But he can actually like act dramatically pretty nice. I feel like not one of the best comedy writers who can like do drama, but like he can act decently. I think he shows a lot of emotionality, a lot of like showing like this robot trying to understand humanity. And then halfway through the movie, he gets a human form and becomes like more traditional Robot Williams. But it's interesting because it's still a more pulled back version of like his normal sterker.
Yeah.
Like he's not doing the zany or like whatever.
Yeah, see, he still acts like a robot, becoming more and more human, which I think is a very hard role to pull off because you have to start really robotic and then over the movie become more and more human, which I think is pretty challenging.
It's always like a hard role. Like every time there's like a character that's like non-human and then becomes more human as a story progresses, it's always a hard role to do. Because you have to communicate. Of course, it's also impacted by how like that character is weird, but you also have to communicate like a character like involving, not just how the personality or anything, but like how they actually function, which is always like hard to do, specifically for like the script or like the writing is not the best. Like I think both the script and like Robin Williams acting is solid in this, and that's why I do think it's very interesting that like he puts some like, his own actually personality traits as like, but they're more pulled back to that. When it becomes human. But yeah, the rest of the acting is like solid. I wouldn't say it's like spectacular, but like I think everything's well. Special shouts out to like the science guy, like his like weird horny robot person though.
Yeah. I think Kirsten Warren is yeah, she's the horny robot girl.
Yeah, I saw who's the scientist guy? I could sort of watch him and stuff before.
Oliver Platt, I think.
Oh yeah, Oliver Platt though.
Yeah. He's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Like, it's very funny. Like they do. We talk about this later, but this movie is very interesting. It's like being like a belly like to this. This is also another thing that makes it unique. It's a very traditional comedy, where like it's part drama, part comedy.
Yeah.
And like the way those things fuse is very interesting in the later half of the movie. And I think both the acting communicates well. The like switch between comedy and acting and more dramatic acting. But yeah, I think everything's well. Neil, what's the guy's from again?
Sam Neill?
Sam Neill, yeah. Sam Neill does a decent role as always. He's very grumpy as always, also because Sam Neill in real life is just extremely fucking grumpy. But yeah, I think everyone's well. Do you have anything to say, Ludo?
No, I think it's pretty charming, Williams is pretty fun.
Yeah.
It very much is that kind of like sentimental movie that he really shines in.
Yeah, yeah. Specifically because he's playing with that elements that he normally doesn't play with like with his user sentimentality, just makes it interesting. But yeah, it's decent.
Yeah. So, AI, artificial intelligence. We got Haley Joel Osment as David, Frances O'Connor as Monica Swinton, Zane Roberts, Henry Swinton, Jake Thomas, Martin Swinton, Jude Law as Gigolo Joe. One of the best names ever in a movie. William Hurt as Professor Hobby, Ken Leung as Siatu Sama. And then we have a bunch of other roles, but we also have Robin Williams in this as Google.
Yeah, this is a very funny connection.
Yeah, it's weird. This may be one of the only times on this podcast where the same actor is in both movies.
Yeah, it's very interesting. AI is like, talking about the acting AI is super interesting because there's a lot. Every actor is doing a thing, you know. They're specifically going for like a different thing. It's hard very well. Like the main thing is like I guess this actually goes into like the movies director. Like a lot of AI is framed like a trailer, like a more classical like Hollywoodian trailer, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's a lot of movements where like specifically with, the main actor, like where the main kid actor will like just go in ways portraying this robot that's both innocent, but because of like it's a robot, it doesn't know humanity. A lot of those moments become like scary.
Yeah.
Like the best way to summarize it is the dinner scene, Lulu. You know what I'm talking about? Where like the robot is trying to like imitate eating, but it can't.
Yeah.
So like there's two different scenes. I'm talking about the first one, not to him like eating and then just malfunctioning. The one like it's trying to him and like his parents are trying to copy like an actual family eating, but because the robot doesn't have any have like social skills, that's just because it's a robot. He just starts laughing and the entire family laughs. There's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
an uncomfortability to it.
I
It's
think
very
it's very Pinocchio, you know?
yeah, it's very Pinocchio because also there's like a lot of sentimentality to it. The acting switch is very interesting between like this like kind of like alienness of like how the characters speak because some of the speakings are very like metaphoric, like very Pinocchio like so, you know like old fairy tale. Then it
Mm-hmm.
goes into like more sensibility where like the characters just burst out.
Yeah.
I remember hearing reviews of this where it says the acting is like like awkward.
Which is the point, I think.
It's a point, yeah, because it's like everyone in the cast is literally a robot, or like somebody that's like emotionally broken.
Yeah. Like, you're not meant to feel, like, comfortable with a lot of the scenes in this movie.
It's very like very fairy tale like with Silent Lines Eye. It's very interesting. Like I could go on talking about just the kid acting, but like not just like the main characters. But, like to give an example, one of my favorite things is like Brendan Gleeson. You know, like the Yellow guy that like shows up in like a lot of things. He's like the circus guy,
Mm-hmm.
and he just gives this very dramatic like carnival like circus guy performance that's both between that comedy and like that and like more serious stuff, and it's very fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right.
Like like there's a lot to talk about how the acting is specifically how like it framed like the acting like it's just shows this like uncanniness to it but also can be sentimental. Like when a character cries they're very much just crying, you know, just putting out their emotions. And like I like how every like robot has like a different thing. It's really interesting. You have things to say about the acting? I could go on, but I don't want to
Yeah, yeah,
like.
yeah. No, I think it's extremely well directed. Um, I guess in this, like, new 2000s trilogy, this is, like, the movie of Spielberg's I like the most, and I think a lot of it is also the performances.
Yeah, there's like something that makes it very unique. That makes it like people couldn't like do not know what to do with it because it's just not Hollywood acting. It has like a bunch of Hollywood stars. Like none of this is like traditional Hollywood acting.
Yeah, which is interesting because this movie, in the long run, came out with a better reputation than Bicentennial Man, and Bicentennial Man is way more played like a traditional Hollywood movie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's very interesting. I guess.
In a way, it's almost ahead of its time, I guess,
Yeah, like you
because we
start.
would get like these movies at the end of the 2000s, like what are called Ex Machina
Yeah.
and Under the Skin, which are both about like characters which are not human, trying to like
Yeah.
comprehend humans.
I suppose have very like cold acting,
Yeah,
which is different from AI because AI is much more emotional, but still like it's interesting because you can notice this Spielberg and like the Kubrickness, but even within the acting because like there's more cold moments and like much more emotional moments that make you cry. Yeah,
yeah.
I guess before we move, what's your review of the performance of Robin Williams in AI? As
I mean, he's a genie.
it's just zany.
Yeah, it's just genie. He's just like a wacky professor guy.
they probably just got him for because he was insane. He honestly,
Yeah.
it's just doing the scene better.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's go to the plot of Bicentennial Man.
yeah.
So, this
It's
is very interesting, I think, because this is a very unusual plot for a Hollywood movie because there is no main villain.
yeah. It's
And the
like
central conflict is more about the main character exploring how to become more human.
yeah. There's no traditional like. There's no like I guess it's like there's no hero style conflict. There's like he has to fight somebody like something. It's like he just like we like finds out about humanity and the model. He like finds people that wants to become more human.
Yeah, it's
It's
about self-actualization.
yeah, it's about a bit also about evolution. Like it's you just don't get things like this in the 90s. Like it's a very like old school sci-fi story. You can notice it as a small adaptation because like it's more like a molite, like not a molite tale. It's like just how do you conundrum? Conundrum?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, it's
it's not.
more like it's basically the ship of Thesis, right?
Yeah, because it's this story about this guy, this like robot guy became more human and has become more human. And he like wants to become more human, then he just becomes human and dies. And like it's more about the observation of that and like the interaction between like how people react to that, like him dealing with those, that humanity. It's like really interesting because you just don't get stuff like this in like mainstream Hollywood in the 90s.
Yeah, it's unusual for its time and also pretty unusual for today.
It's also like a Chris Columbus movie with like it's the fucking Harry Potter one guy and Home Alone, so like you don't expect that from him. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
probably his most philosophical movie.
yeah. But yeah, it's very interesting. I think the plot is less interesting, not the plot, because what's more interesting is the bias interactions and how the there was interaction in like various moments of like how things affected the Williams robot. But it's very interesting. It's structural. It's very like because it's just very much like an old school sci-fi stuff thing.
Yeah, a large part of it is a like almost traditional love story,
Yeah,
but it's also super weird. Like it's
yeah,
not it's not it's not your usual love story.
yeah. It's just between like elements and moments. It's really interesting. There's moments when like a part of the movie is just Robin Williams just walking. Like it's really interesting because it's just like it takes the time in a way that I did not expect from it. It's really interesting.
It kind of is similar to AI in that in the middle it basically becomes a different movie once he leaves the home.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's an interesting thing. AI.
AI.
That's have you heard this thing called Pinocchio, Ludo?
Yo, I think I made some stuff about it. We both did. What if we made Pinocchio extremely depressing?
This is very interesting. This is very much Pinocchio. So this is Pinocchio. It's inspired by a movie, but specifically the structure is very Pinocchio because it's very like not even Pinocchio. It's just very old book. Like Bicentennial Man is inspired by like old Asimov and not science fiction. AI is extremely old fairy tales because like there's a series of stories that connect to like an ending in a model,
Yeah.
and how those stories interact are episodic, but in a way that all connects in like an emotional color.
Yeah, the Ringer article actually talks about this when like Kubrick was like hiring 6 different writers over decades, to get this script.
Yeah, you could
He was looking for very much something very mythological.
Yeah, the only other Kubrick comparison I can do is Barry Lyndon, because that kind of also has like an episodic structure. That's way
Yeah, and
different.
goes over a very long time span.
Yeah, it's really like interesting.
Did you know that Arthur C. Clarke wrote one of the scripts for this?
That's very funny.
And Kubrick immediately threw that shit out of the window.
Yeah, classic,
That's so
classic Kubrick.
funny.
But yeah, It's really fucking interesting, not just because of the Pinocchio connection, because like, if you want to hear us talk about Pinocchio, we did a podcast about that and a connection with AI. But
Yeah.
yeah, but I like how like every part of the movie is like it's different thing. It's like there's a very much like eerie sci-fi story in the beginning. Like it's all that. Like then there's the escape from the circus. There's the circus like moment from Pinocchio. There's this part of them going to like Pleasure Island, but it's all like its own elements, and all those parts connect. You
Yeah,
know.
it's like a very vignette heavy movie.
And like I was talking earlier, like a lot of those parts have very conflicting elements from like Spielberg and Kubrick's influences. So I can see like the
Hmm.
more uncanny moments of like Kubrick with the more emotionality of Spielberg. Not to like I want to be careful because I want to just go. Of course, other people worked on this, but that's like there's no strict dividing line, you know, because some of the darker moments are from Spielberg, some of the more lighter moments are from Kubrick.
Yeah,
But
this
that's
is
all like
also an era where Spielberg was playing with darker elements in his movies, so it's not like that shit came just from Kubrick.
yeah, yes, but yeah, it's barely interesting because
Yeah.
yeah, like it's just a very interesting format. But like, do you want to talk more about the Pinocchio connection, though?
No, I think we really went into that in our Pinocchio special.
Yeah, but that's I was just say I think it's a very like I was just say this about the Pinocchio connection. I feel like AI is probably one of the better like so-called like darker takes on a fairy tale I've seen. Because like
Yeah.
it understands that there's those darkness there, just like modernizes in a way that like plays with the idea.
It's probably one of the darkest takes we watched when we watched all those Pinocchio adaptations.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I think that Japanese one was like the closest it got. What was it called?
yeah. Tree
Not the
Apartment.
yeah, Tree of Pollen. That one was
This
also
the
very
show
very
was dark,
dark.
but for different reasons.
Yeah, that one was more morbid than like philosophically dark.
But yeah, I think like it's
You
you could
don't
like
have that many Pinocchio adaptations where like Pinocchio tries to kill himself.
you can. There's just a lot you can talk about. The plot of AI definitely is interesting. Okay, let's go to the next part.
Yeah,
What's the
yeah.
themes?
Let's go to teams of bicentennial man. This is gonna be an interesting one.
Yeah,
Uh, like we already mentioned, we got this ship of teasers things about what does it mean to be human,
yeah,
and then we have, I guess this is in both in a way. We got like some kind of Pinocchio has this too. We have some kind of reverse transhumanism, transrobotism.
yeah,
Like when does a robot become human?
yeah.
Which is very interesting.
And there's also there's like a not intentional, but like this is my AI, but like there's a you can read it as like a label out, not like a commodity like a modifier, you know, like an angle.
Well, wait a second, because one of the things I found when I looked up the story, an argument somebody made,
Yeah,
and I hate to go there because we're going to Detroit Become Human now.
yeah,
Apparently, some people read the original novella as a thing about the what was it called, the '60s movement where they
civil rights.
black. Yeah, this was seen as an allegory for the civil rights movement for
Yeah,
from some people.
let's. This is not. Thankfully, I don't think this is the toy. This is not the toy to become human.
I mean,
Thankfully,
Detroit Become Human is doing the same thing, just very badly.
Y-
You know,
you
in the
literally
worst
fuck.
possible way.
Okay, quick side note: you literally fucking just spray like say the Martin Luther King speech in that fucking game.
Yeah, I know. It's very bad. I don't think. I think there's some stuff that's still in the movie from that. You know, like at the start of the movie, the
Yeah,
robot is basically a servant, and he has to call the things the
yeah,
patriarch and the matriarch of the house, sir and ma'am. You know.
yeah. Like there's stuff there, but it's like distant, you know. It's not fully going for the robots as black people metaphor.
Yeah, it's not fully going in on that. Also, like there's enough stuff that changes around that it doesn't become Detroit Become Human.
Thankfully. But yeah,
Yeah. I just wanted to mention it because it is a reading that I guess makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't know how much of it is in the novel.
I was just gonna mention, but yeah, I feel like what I was gonna say is like you can read it as also like a commodity label thing because like this thing used for like label in like for where people becomes human, becomes itself, it goes above that.
Yeah, there's
It
also the whole part where like they stop making robots because it like threatens the future of labor in the movie.
yeah,
Like
it's
it basically destabilizes the economy.
yeah. This the book. If you remember, the book is part of the. It's part of the Foundation series, right? I think we talked about
Yes.
this. Foundation is like Asimov's like big thing. It talks a lot about labor, it talks about stuff like that. I won't go over in it, but like there's a very much interesting stuff when they're going on about like robots, like production and stuff like that, and how like humanity kind of makes and starts machines because it doesn't want them to both replace them and just like to be better than them and like basically to take those jobs. But yeah, like there's a very like I did not here's the thing. I did not expect this movie to be as interesting to think about as it is. Because I feel like
Yes.
the stuff of like him just becoming human and just like choosing to die, basically to become human is a really fucking interesting thing. Because he's like sacrificing himself to feel, to emote. In a way that could be very corny, but it's done in like an emotional way that I feel is really interesting to think about and like extremely old school sci-fi, like you would see in like the 70s.
Yeah, I mean, there's also, you can obviously do like a trans reading on this
Yeah,
whole thing
yeah, yeah.
because he basically goes to the government so he can be accepted as a human.
Yeah, and the part about like the government not accepting him is like really interesting because they don't want to accept that. It's like really fucking interesting actually.
Yeah, you don't think that like funny robot Robin Williams movie will like go into all this shit. It's really interesting.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So yeah, I guess let's move on. Or do you have anything to add to Bicentennial Man plot themes?
Waste people bad, I guess.
Yeah, rich people bad, I think.
Lawyers bad.
Yeah, lawyers especially evil.
Shout to my lawyer friends. I don't hate you. Anyway,
Okay, themes of AI, artificial intelligence. I guess everything Pinocchio has.
Pinocchio, he might become a human. Struggle with some susceptibility. Struggle with loss, of course, because of the stuff that's happened on Pinocchio.
Yeah, there's also a whole like motherly love, like
Yeah,
parental love and neglect and what it does to
yeah.
people.
The accepting mortality in a way, like accepting mortality in like a way that like even with, like it's also a bit of self-illusion to like make it softer. The stuff. How do we put the stuff with the circus, like the feel of the art, of course, like, but like also feel of like that they will replace us.
Yeah, like basically existential fears.
There's also like stuff like again with like a label argument because like the movie starts like this guy giving a speech about like how he wants like commodify the ultimate thing. This is like a side.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
you can really have some like weird like capitalist readings, like how capitalism commodifies everything, you
yeah,
know.
it's really interesting. You can just do a lot of interesting readings in this. You have it. I'll give you because like this is like a very thing. We could make just a podcast about themes of AI. You know,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
thing with
yeah.
our format. We cannot just like spend 2 hours talking about this specifically because you do have to buy groceries. So like, do you have anything specific to say about the themes of AI?
I mean, like most Kubrick movies and like a lot of Spielberg movies, I think you can really dig into these things. You know,
Yeah,
there's really a lot of substance happening here. In almost every scene, is basically has a meaning, is or is like posing questions that often don't get answered.
yeah. Like like was mentioned, this is very Pinocchio. This is very episodic. Every part of the story is a fable. It's about dealing with loss. It's about feel of the art, or like not just feel of the art, like turning that feel into entertainment, which is like extremely. I fucking love that part because it's like they make like this fucking world so like Master Track destruction thing about the robots, and like people just consuming it, and it's the most American shit positive because it's just like
It's the equivalent of, when conservatives pour down the light beer into the toilet because there was a trans woman.
yeah, it's like, but now specifically it's more like old school like Master Adobe stuff. Like that's the style them. Was
Yeah,
like
it has that too.
like it's the story into entertainment, the fear of destruction, everything was really fucking. I love that part because it combines very well into like 9/11 stuff by accident.
Yeah.
As just thought to Ben Gleeson, I really like him as an actor. Such Bounces was very good. But yeah, I really like the part, but it goes into like the part where like they go to Pesalium to try to find the clues. In the last part, it's like, God, the fucking last part of the movie, the scene with the robot kid destroying his outer self. You can read a lot of that.
Yeah.
Because they commodify him and he rebels by destroying everyone because he wants to be unique, because he's made to be unique. The commodification is destroying the other commodification because it contradicts itself. Really fucking
Yeah.
good. This movie's fucking good, you know?
Also, shout outs to the blowjob tunnel.
Yeah. So that was up torn. It's really fucking good. Do you have like a favorite parable of the movie, I guess? It's be the best way of talking this, not like a short timer.
I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the concept artist for this, which also designed the blowjob tunnel. He's called Fangorn,
Yeah.
and he's, I think, a black guy who lives in England.
Well, does he have like comics like backstory or something? Because a lot of times people like comics like old pop sci-fi theater.
I don't know if he ever worked in comics, but he does like still concept art for a lot of movies. He's extremely sought after.
It could be just like exploration, like influence of movies and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's like a lot you can read, like just the designs of this are very thematic. There's like a lot of like futurism, the non-fascist kind.
No, there is really a lot of like Metropolis in this, in terms of how they design the city.
A bit of like European sci-fi, a bit of like Japanese Astro Boy stuff.
Yes,
like
there's like in the Pleasure City there is some like cyberpunk neon landscapes.
Yeah, it's a better combination of everything. It's really interesting. Okay, before we go, I'm gonna ask you about, because the other things we're not talking about the teams or anything. What do you think Ziggler Zoe represents team wise?
Oh, I mean, he's also part of like this commodification, right?
Yeah.
Basically, taking the sex worker out of the sex work.
Yeah, but
and
why
replacing them.
But why he's like a top down, so like he's like very like 50s like Hollywood like musical guy.
Yeah, he in a way he's just like Elvis Presley, right?
Yeah,
They created the sex icon of the 50s.
Yeah, but it's interesting also because like a lot of them are like a lot of the what you see are like very much old images of the past. I find interesting. It's really interesting movie. Yeah, let's go. It's music time next or cinematography.
Cultural relevance from Bicentennial Man.
But that's before cinematography and music.
Yes.
Okay. I think if you like old school, people remember this because it's a Robin Williams movie. They remember this as like the funny movie where the Robin Williams wears the suit that apparently he had issues wearing. No surprises.
That's interesting because I have more to take that this is largely forgotten except for the suit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. People remember it because some people remember it, not a lot, because it's the movie where he wears the funny suit.
Yeah, but it's not really fondly remembered. It doesn't have the same reputation as some other Williams movies, like Good Will Hunting or whatever.
Yeah, if I said fondly remembered thing, that is not intentional, like, but yeah. But I think people remember this for the meme factor, like Robin Williams. I'm actually surprised he's not the meme.
Yeah, why don't we see clips of Robin Williams robot falling out of a window?
That's really a meme, honestly.
Apparently, the scream he does is like inspired by a broken Furby his child had or something. That's very funny.
But yeah, I think if you like old school sci-fi, I think if you like stuff like this, I like as movie and sci-fi, like interesting movies. Robin Williams. I think there's gonna be an interest on this because people will probably remember it from this childhood and like check it out. I think some people will also remember it for the more sci-fi explorations. I feel like.
Yeah.
Uh, AI is gonna be. AI is interesting to think about.
AI is a completely different beast, I feel, because I can. I think this movie got really re-examined over the years, because when it came out, I remember a lot of people were down on this movie.
This is like one of the most interesting because like things get just re-examined a lot here because like turns out taste is not a collective thing, people just when thing gets re-examined, it's not because like the evil people you don't like or like a movie you don't like or whatever, like it's just because turns out the collective consensus we made is very small and made of a very small collection of people. So like when you get
Yeah.
more access to a thing, people find out about it, and just have different opinions. Because
Also, sometimes it just takes time for, especially if something doesn't fit the mold of the contemporary like entertainment age.
yeah,
It takes time for people to actually see the qualities in it that are good.
yeah, this is one of the most interesting things of re-examination because like this was marketed as a kids movie. People just thought this was a Spielberg kids movie and that's it, Pinocchio. But the problem is, this is not a kids movie at all.
No.
I guess you can like let your kid watch it. It's like, it's fine for that. Like
Your kid won't get a lot of it. Like, I watched this when I was like
same. I just thought
12,
it was about
13.
robots. But yeah, like the thing is, this is actually like a very dramatic examination of like robotics, humanity, the concept of America. They're not like a very awkward acting on purpose. So like what happens is like people saw that and people went, oh, this fucking sucks. Why is this kids movie like this? And then people realize, oh yeah, it's not a kids movie, because after people start to look, because AI used to be like a meme on the internet. It's really, oh, Spielberg's worst movie. Then there was actual like examination of it because it's like Spielberg and Kubrick, and then people started realizing, oh, it's doing a thing, it's doing a thing.
Yeah.
And like people will remember this because it's a sci-fi movie that's genuinely extremely interesting by two of the biggest directors in the world.
Yeah,
It's
that's I think why people will also like still think and talk about this in 20 years, because this is two of the biggest directors of the 20th century.
like the Wingo piece Ludo has cited before was from like a year ago or 2 years ago. People are still
Yeah.
writing about this because
And it's very long, like in
yeah,
depth.
because the story itself is also fascinating. How like it was produced, how it was done, how Kubrick died before it came out. Like there's a lot to think about here, and I feel like people just remember it because it's like genuinely a good movie done by like two extremely like talented and famous people.
Yeah. Okay.
I do just last day. I do think AI is just genuinely one of the most fascinating cases of like re-examination we ever had because the re-examination I feel in AI like re-examination is always gonna lead to some fictions, of course, but like everyone just accepts, oh yeah, we were wrong in that. I feel like there's very few people that like AI just sucks, or at least in like that 2000s internet era.
Yeah. People like the nostalgia critic.
Yeah, like next podcast guest, a nostalgia critic, get time for that. Anyway,
Yeah, get hyped for Doug Walker. We're totally gonna get him.
You're gonna get them to talk about.
I mean, his company. If we pay his company that owns the rights to him, that basically owns him. If we pay them enough, they're gonna send him over. He can't say no. I'm pretty sure.
Speaking of commodification flavor, that's for get type for a 6-hour podcast series about the nostalgia critic movies coming out soon. Anyway, let's go. What's next? Music?
Cinematography,
Okay.
bicentennial man.
It's software. I don't have a lot to say.
Yeah.
It's software. It's like a decent
It's
enough.
solid.
It's
The
soft-
cinematographer made some weird things.
Yeah.
I think he directed some stuff that's not very good. I think he was the cinematographer on Highlander 2.
Yeah, he does like a massive with it. It's like he doesn't really have like a style from the stuff I've seen, but yeah, it just suits like a kids movie. It's fine. It's like
There's some scenes like of the sci-fi America of the future that I really liked.
Yeah, there's the good
because it
soul
has
thing.
like these layers of old America and new America put together, like you see it
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah, it's like it's well thought. It's just like it doesn't have like it's like it's not thought in a way. It's like, oh, this is like fantastic or anything. Just like it's well done. It's solid.
Yeah, it's solid.
Yeah. AI.
AI, this shit is peak.
This shit is
Like
like
when
the
you watch
goats
this,
and money.
yeah, when you watch this in 2001, like no matter if you get the story or not, how could you not like be extremely impressed by the
It's
cinematography?
weird as in style so much. It's amazing because there's like barely stage play stuff. There's stuff that's like barely like dramatic, bombastic, explosive. Then
Hmm.
there's more quieter sorts like the characters face all together. The fucking like table scene I was talking about earlier was fantastic because it's shot in this like very like distant way. So I just see these three people just eating and then they just exploding laughing, and it's just like really fucking well done.
Yeah,
Like it's
Spielberg
like
has his guy on this, you know, that he has for many movies, Janos Kaminski.
yeah, like that's the Spielberg guy. Like he has as much like I wouldn't say he has a style. He just can morph his style into. He has a million styles, you know. He can morph his style into like whatever Spielberg wants to do, and it's
Yeah,
like there's a reason people we cinematographers we like that guy because he's very good just like doing whatever the director needs. And like you can see this because there's a lot like I was mentioning earlier, a lot of AI feels like a thriller because there's like moments of like Hitchcockian like scenes where like it's all very dramatic, like the face of together and like explosive, not explosive, like it's
yeah,
it's really fucking good. The like
yeah.
the
This shit is really good.
even when it's like filming CGI, it's well done. Like the city stuff looks very grandiose and fantastic.
Yeah, it really like it still like references Kubrick's style while being clearly a Spielberg movie, and that's really hard to do, I think.
Yeah, yeah, it's really fucking good. Okay,
Yeah,
music.
watch that movie.
What's both movies so good? Music.
Yeah. I didn't even write notes for the music because it was like I didn't know what to say. I guess this the AI has the John Williams score, I guess.
Bicentennial Man, it's fine. It inserts. I don't. I think the last,
Yeah.
it's not very emotional. Like it's a most Chris Columbus part. It's like very emotional. Bum 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 bum. That's it.
Yeah. It's the classic Hollywood score, you know.
It's very melodramatic and stuff. It's fine. John Williams is like I have complicated feelings on John Williams. I think we talked about this earlier. I think he can
Yeah.
make very interesting tracks, but also he's like limited to a specific style of like classical Hollywood composer and most of his like. But also it's like I think it's fine for what it does. The pieces can be moody, can be dramatic. I think it's fine. I think of all the composers, John Williams is definitely one of the of all the Hollywood composers. John Williams is definitely one of the better composers for like the classical orchestras like style.
Yeah, because like he can still make stuff that's memorable.
He can also morph his style like somebody like Hans Zimmer or something.
Yeah. Who is always the same shit. Yeah.
It's always da 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 da
Da da da da da da.
da 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 da. We love having fun in this podcast. Give us
Yeah.
money anyway. Let's go. Anything else? Music as well.
I think we're good for these two movies. Go
Okay.
check them out. I think especially like AI. I think most people know it's good. Bicentennial, it's very sentimental. You know, the ending is very tearjerker.
Yeah.
But I
Both movies
think
are very
for what
good.
it is, it's really good.
Yeah, go watch both movies. They're very good. But yeah, new update. So did change somewhat the random numbers on the system because we want to pick movies that we want to watch. Plus, we do want. I like the randomizing of it. We have a new system that has some of the randomizing elements still. It's not going fully away. The thing is, just a mess to keep the list. We have a list normalized, but the thing is, it's the list we use because we use the twin movies list on Wikipedia, and it just keeps getting updated. So it's just
Yeah.
like super time to keep it updated and increase the numbers. So
Yeah, we're
instead,
still we're still gonna do RNG from time to time just so we get movies that are like outside the range of what we're interested in.
yeah, I'm trying. I'm gonna pick stuff that's not just what I interest. If I see something that's cursed or not by zone, I'll probably pick it if I feel it's interesting enough. That's
Yeah.
like we're not talking about going to win. but like something like stuff like that. Yeah, but yeah. So we have a new system. Every one of us, me, Ludo, and our third favorite person, producer Perez,
Executive producer.
executive producer Perez, gets to pick a movie from the list, and we're gonna talk about it. Because we did this space swap test, I'm resigning my pick this time to give it to Ludo. Then next time I pick it, and it's gonna be producer Perez, and I'm gonna just rotate it to me, Ludo, producer Perez, and then fourth time we're gonna use, instead of just rotating it, instantly to me. Before me getting the pick, I'm using the random generator machine, so I got 4 different persons.
Yes.
I hope this is easy to explain, but yeah. So what's next month, Ludo?
So next month, we're gonna talk about Gothic and Haunted Summer, which are both movies set in 1816 when Lord Byron, Mary Shelley, Percy Shelley, and John William Polidori spent a summer in the isolated Villa Diodati by Lake Geneva.
I know a lot about this because I'm a god. Also, somehow there's 2 Doctor Who episodes about this.
Also, I'm also becoming a goth now, so I need to also know about this.
Fucked up.
Yeah.
Alle plugins, alle source of water, every fucking thing. Blue Sky, co-host, Patreon, Twist, etc. You, Ludo?
Ludovico Limited, LTD written. I mean, people that don't even know found me on co-host that way, so
yeah,
you're gonna find me there. I'm also, I guess, on am I? I guess I'm also on Twitch still, but that doesn't really matter. So don't forget to give to our Patreon.
Before I go, we now have a Blue Sky account for the podcast.
Yeah. Pay money to the Patreon of Alice. That's very important.
Give me money.
Good.
See you next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Hasta la vista, baby. I don't know why I said that.